And we are recording. Okay, so let's jump straight to Maya, and then I'll show you how to create a simple animation like this one. Now, modeling this, I won't tell you how to model this. This one is very simple. You guys can attempt to model it yourself. If you have things like fans that is turning repeatedly, or you have a tick-tock, a clock, pendulum, or you have an object, right, that has some simple animation, and you want to bring it into your Unreal scene. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do it. So let me just open up the scene of this drinking bird without the animation. Okay, which is this one. Okay, this one already have the animation done. Let's see. Yeah, this one already have the animation. I will just clear the animation first. Okay, so these are the keys. So how do you do an animation in Maya? So you can see on my timeline, right, that these are all the red lines here. So first, let me get rid of these red lines or these keys. Okay, there are a number of ways to do it. You can go and open up the animation editors. There's this thing called the dope sheet, right? The dope sheet, right, will show you all the keys, right, that are within the timeline. So these are the keys that I've added. So right now I'm going to get rid of all the keys by just dragging a box over them. There's a main dope sheet summary. I can just drag a box over this and then just delete them. Right, so right now my character here doesn't have an animation anymore. Now I parented it in such a way that I created a locator so that all the parts, right, of this toy is parented together like that. Right, so the point of rotation is actually this pivot point over here. Alright, so let me just rename them and call this the pivot point. And I will go to the channel box and I will get rid of the rotation. There's still one more rotation key over here. So how do you can actually remove the rotation key here by holding down the shift. Okay, holding down the shift and left mouse click and drag over the key. Okay, and release. Then right mouse click and then delete the keys. Here, delete. So now the keys are gone. Every time you set a key, right, here will have a red, there will be a red color on the transforms. Okay, so we usually set keys right around our channel box area. So right now I want to change the the rotation to 0, zero it out. I want to create a simple animation of the bird tipping down and going up again, down and going up again. So I'll start off by going over to the right view with my pivot point selected, and I also want to set a frame rate of 24 frames per second because this is the frame rate that I'm using in my Unreal project. Okay, which is actually it's 25 over here. Okay, so I will switch it to 25 instead. So scroll down here and then change it to 25 frames per second. So I want the whole animation to last 10 seconds, so that will be 250 frames. So I'll start off at frame 1, drag the timeline, left mouse click and drag. And then I'm going to have it tip backwards first. So press E to go to rotation and rotate it backwards slightly. Then to set a keyframe, there are a number of ways that you can do that. You can press S, but I don't like to use S because it will set keyframe for all the transform values here. I don't want to set any 0 keyframe, so I only want to set the rotation on the X axis. So highlight the X axis, left mouse click on it, right mouse click on it, and then say key selected. Alright, choose the word key selected. So right mouse click and then say key selected. And you notice now there's a red line over here. And if I open up my dope sheet, you also notice that there's a black dot over here. Alright, so I'm going to minimize this. So I'm going to scrub forward. And maybe around 30 frames. I want to have the bird tip forward like that. Right. And then you notice now it is no longer red, it's pink color. That means there is a keyframe somewhere along the timeline. If I want it to be fully red, I need to scrub back to the exact keyframe, and you see now it's fully red. So back to 30 frames again, and then I have to manually rotate it down. And notice just now, when I scrub it back to the original keyframe, it will snap back to its original position. As I scrub through the timeline, I will right mouse click on this, and then I'll say key selected again. And now we created a very simple tipping down motion. Okay, so I want it to tip down a little bit more, maybe at frame 40. I'll just tip it down just a little bit more. Then right mouse click and then key selected. Now you notice that every time I do the change, right, I have to go and right mouse click key selected, right mouse click key selected. But traditionally that's how you set a keyframe for a lot of animators. But if you want to speed things up a little bit, you can enable something called auto key, which is this button over here. Turn on auto key. Now it's activated. So every time I do another transform, let's say I want to transform it back to the original position. 25, I want to maybe put it at 80, maybe 80, around 83 like that. I want to rotate it back to the same position. So what I can do is that I can copy this keyframe and paste it over here. You can use the dope sheet to do that also. So I can highlight this key. Okay, I can copy it, copy. And then right now my timeline indicator is indicating the same position. I can right mouse click, edit, and then I can paste. Oops. Okay, this one is loading now. Okay, I'll come back to this again. Right mouse click, edit, and then I will paste. And you'll paste the exact same keyframe from frame 0 all the way here. So now I created a simple cycle. Okay, a simple cycle. Now, if you want to repeat all of this, I can shift select all these keys and I can duplicate and then paste them. Alright. But I want to show you another animation window which is very powerful, which is the curve editor. So if you go to click on Windows, now you can access all of this under the animation editors here. The curve editor or the graph editor here will show you the acceleration and deceleration of the curve itself. And now that I realize I don't really need this key here. You notice that I got a key here because the curve here is very consistent. I can select this key by just left mouse clicking and dragging on it and then delete it away just by pressing the delete key. So right now I have a consistent tipping motion. Okay. So now since I got a lot of time here, I want to do this 3 times. Now there is also a lot of options. You can actually loop this animation, but I will not show you that now, but I'll show you how you can copy and loop this animation. Okay, so let's see, from here is 40, so from 83 plus 40, 83 plus 40, how much is that? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 123. So 123 is about here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm going to select this key. You can do the same thing here. Control C to copy, and then Control V to paste. Alright. Then between this frame to this frame, how many frames is that? Okay, 40 to 83. Okay, right now I just want to just do this very quickly. So I'm just going to guesstimate this. Control C, Control V, and then come over here. Right in the middle here, then Control C, Control V, then go on to the last frame, which should end up exactly as the same one here. So I'll select this one, Control C and Control V. Okay, so now I created a loop animation for all the 250 frames. Alright, so it will go up and down like that, slowly, for 25 frames per second. And now I can export this animation. So I'm going to export this animation, and there are a number of settings that is very important within Maya that you need to be aware of. So I'll select everything, click on File, Export Selection, and I'm going to call this Drinking Bird 2, toy underscore 02, and then scroll down until you reach animation here. There is an option that is very important. By default, this is not turned on. Big animation is not turned on. Make sure you check this. Okay, the first time I did this, I didn't check this, and I tried to bring it into Unreal. It didn't work. The animation was lost. So the big animation must be activated. And then I'll say export selection. So I've exported it. So I exported it into my scenes folder. So right now I'm going to jump over to my scene over here. I'm going to create a new imported folder. I'm going to delete away this existing bird. Okay, I want to get rid of the Drinking Bird toy from the sequencer. Yep. And then I will go to imported, and then I'll get rid of this folder also. Okay, and then I will bring this back in again. Let's see. Okay, I'll create another folder just to keep everything organized. Drinking Bird toy. Then go inside this folder, double click, right mouse click, import. Then go over to your scenes folder. I mean for my exported folder. So this is the one that I've exported. Drinking Bird toy. And also, when you import in, please make sure you enable this import animation. By this sometimes might not be activated. Everything else, we'll leave it as it is. And then I'll say import all. Okay, so now I got my drinking bird. And you can see that most of them should have an animation. So I'm going to test this one out. I'm going to double click on this. Okay, it seems that the baking animation has flipped it up too much. Okay, so I'm going to see what's wrong with it. Okay, I'm going to take a look at the original animation here. Okay, I have no idea why the animation turns out like this. But anyway, we can go and reanimate or add more keys, right? And try to fix the animation. It seems that the starting animation of this bird, right, was this position. So that's why when I animated it, right, it actually went down further. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to try to freeze the rotation so that this will be the, but I can't do that right now. So I'll just quickly, I'm going to delete all these keys and now, oops, I'm not supposed to do that. Okay, hold down shift, highlight the timeline, right mouse click, delete the keys. And I will try to freeze the transformation here. So now it's set to 0. Then I'll start to do my animation again. Okay, maybe that's why it didn't work. Okay, so one more time, rotate here, key selected. Then around 40 here, I will rotate it down. I'll turn on my auto key this time. See, the auto key now will automatically generate for me. So I'll finish at 80. Bring it back up again. Okay, roughly around there. So I will open up my graph editor again and I will just quickly rebuild the animation. Now, if your animation is not fitting, you have to use the, okay, let's see, where is the, yeah, pressing F will fill up everything for you. So we'll repeat everything again. Select this key. Actually, I'm going to select 2 of these keys, Control C, and then move forward here, right about here, then Control V to paste, and then Control V to paste. Now the good thing about the animation graph editor is that I can come over here, select all the keys from this point onwards, and then press R to scale, and then middle mouse click and drag, and then it will scale based on where you put your cursor. I'm going to scale it from here until the last key ends at the last frame here. Right, so I'm going to grab this key here, then just move it to the left a bit. Okay, press W to move, and then you can move it to the left a bit. Now it is fit into the cycles. Okay, I'm going to re-import this again. One more time, select all of this, file, export selection, again, big animation again, make sure it's turned on. I'm going to override this toy, the previous one that I've exported, and I'm going to try again to bring in the toy. So this one didn't work, so I will get rid of all of these. Shift select and then delete. And which we'll bring it one more time, bring in the toy and then import all. And hopefully this time, it's still showing the animation in a weird position. Okay, actually this is not what it is supposed to be. Okay, so anyway, I don't want to mess around with this. I will just go and import the previous one, which was successful. So I have no idea why the thing flips up like that. I will go and import the original one. So this one doesn't have any problem. The drinking bird toy is in the correct position. Alright, so this one works. So now I'm going to just drag the drinking bird toy into the scene here. Okay, drag the one with the animation. As the scale is a little bit small, I'm going to press R to scale it out a little bit. Then I'm going to reposition it. And right now the only way to watch it in action is to hit the play button, and then you can see it playing. But if I were to watch the cinema camera and then play back the cinematics, you notice the animation is not happening. Okay, the reason is because we need to actually bring this bird into the sequencer. Alright, so I'm gonna select the drinking bird, I'm gonna drag it and drop it into the sequencer. But even after I drop it into the sequencer, it also doesn't animate. Okay, that is because we have to add another animation channel. Now, if you quickly go back to see what I've imported, when I import in the bird, right, you notice that there are several different meshes. There's one with the skeleton, one with the physics, one with the mesh itself, and then one with the animation. So we had to link the animation data to our drinking bird. So go over to animation here, click on plus, and then it will automatically list out all the compatible animations for the drinking bird. You can click on it. And then now you can see, based on where the timeline is, the drinking bird animation will start only from where you indicate. So we can drag this animation right to the beginning. And since this is a looped animation, we can extend the animation by grabbing the last range and then extend it all the way. So what's going to happen is you can see a line over here. So this will start the animation all over again. It will become a loop. Alright. So when I press the space bar, now you can see on the sequencer the animation is working. Now I have no idea what happened to the bird just now, the previous attempt for me to get it. So maybe, I don't know, maybe perhaps, let me just open up the scene file that has the latest animation that I did yesterday. Okay, so the drinking bird, the animation is done on this part here. Okay, maybe perhaps I've added extra keys. I'm not sure. I have no idea. Okay, because the starting rotation is also at a very weird angle as well. So you guys might have to go and experiment. Or sometimes if that happens, you might have to offset the animation as well. Also, I think maybe because I animated this at 24 frames per second. Yeah. You can try animating at 24 and then bringing it into the 25 frames per second scene. Okay, so yeah, I have no idea why that import didn't work earlier on. But there's one thing I want to show you, which is this is one of the students' work, and she has a very serious problem. That is, when I open up her master sequencer, all her shots are missing. Some of you might face this problem. So this one is very, very important. I'm going to show you how to fix this kind of problem. So I'm going to go to each of the individual shots, double click, and you will see that the cameras are red in color. I don't know how many of you have experienced this problem before. Okay, so if you ever face this kind of problem, right, the fix is actually quite simple. You have to go over to the spanner tool, click on the drop down, go to advanced, and then click on fix actor references. Click on it, and boom, it is fixed. So right now, if I click on the lock to camera view, I should be able to see the shot working. Right now, I'm going to move back to the master shot again, and I'm going to fix the shot number 2. So if you go to shot number 2, it is not working, so double click on it. Go to the problematic camera, alright, and then go to the spanner tool, the actions tool, click on the drop down, go to advanced, and choose fix actor references, and boom. And then we lock to the camera view, and then we should be able to see the camera working again. So go back to master shot, and now we see both our shots are working. Alright, so this is potentially a problem that will haunt a lot of students, and it has bothered me since last year as well. Okay, a lot of us did the animation nicely already, and then when we save the file and reopen it again, then all the cameras turn red. So no idea how to fix it. So it's over here, under actions, advanced, fix actor references. Okay, so that's pretty much what I want to show you all for today. So I'll end the video now.